Alrighty, it's our final best of three of the day here for the Korea LCQ. Lunavis will be taking on BlossoM in what is a actual repeat match from the Open qualifiers. BlossoM won that series very comfortably, actually, and it was a very quick 2-0. We'll see whether or not Lunavis have sort of gained any experience from that, guys, and if they can bring that over to this series. But as sort of mentioned on the desk prior to the break, yeah, it's not as if BlossoM are strangers to Oregon. I think this should be the kind of matchup where their experience should be shining through. Any kind of result that goes the way of Lunavis will be hard fought and unexpected. So they are firmly the underdog in this matchup.
Yeah, and for BlossoM, if you want to be a serious contender for a spot at the major, it's a match like this that should be easy. It should be. It needs to be dominant, especially Oregon defense doesn't get much more comfortable than that in the 9-map pool. So expecting BlossoM to be in a seat of confidence. In terms of the bans, the only one that really does stand out is that Yana, but Yana is an incredibly popular entry at the moment to grenades, 1.5, chuck an angled on, and you're good to go. So that's not so that unusual flows as well. Actually, to flush out down below can be quite powerful, and that has been banned out. So if anything, that actually reinforces the positions of BlossoM. With Kaid banned out, however, it means that the hatches will now be exposed. BlossoM may need to invest something on the roam for that particular objective, but for top floor, where we kick things off, Kaid will have no impact there.
What's your expectations for this series, guys? Because obviously the last time these two teams played, it was heavily one-sided in favor of BlossoM. The expectation, even probably beside that actual game, is that BlossoM have too much experience from their time in Pro League. This should be an absolute beatdown for every sense of the word, coupled with the fact they're starting defense Oregon. I mean, this, in all sense of the money, is when you talk about 7-1s and 7-0s.
Yeah, no, totally agree. I'd be pretty surprised if this ends up being a close game. And for me, I'm really just measuring how confident BlossoM are. Should be a relatively straightforward game. And if it's anything like the Open Core playoff, then there's precedent established that, yeah, should be one-sided. I guess you can make the argument that perhaps that match didn't have as much pressure associated with it, because we're now in a single elim spot for the major, but I think even still, it's enough to give me a lot of confidence.
I will say, of course, that is not to be disrespectful to Lunavis. I think it's just more the storyline here that BlossoM is by far and away the more experienced of the two teams, and well, should be considered obviously also the more skillful of the two teams. And it's just the nature of the matchup, and really, I guess, the nature of open quals into LCQ. You get these kind of matchups where, as an open qualified team, you get to now take on what is essentially a Pro League team, even if it is on the lower end. Big window gets opened up, and it is actually going to be Notion that gets the opening kill onto R9. Nitrocell out for Solio. Try and stop that push from Big Window, and the top white stairs push is also shut down. That's going to be a bit confusing because there's two R9s. I guess I guess they're going to call one fan and one ally. I don't even know.
Either way, and so with confidence that it is pretty much a perfect start here for BlossoM. And yeah, unfortunately for Lunavis, it's not the best of starts. Minute 30 on the clock. We'll see if they can try to bring something back into fruition, but it's unlikely. And I am trying to discern who R9.fan number 2 is by looking at the rosters. Oh, it's a little bit strange because a lot of the names are variant to what is on Wikipedia. So we'll try and work that out as we go along, but we might not have a lot of time because this is probably going to be a quick one. This is Lunavis's map pick, so they might be able to put up at least somewhat of a fight. Either way, though, we'll see if Ezogia can lurk up late. Well, he did, at least somewhat, but Sol shuts him down. Question marks over whether or not he would even be inside of the server today, but Sol certainly is playing. Now it's Dog on the roof. BlossoM to shut that down, and yeah, a good way to kick things off.
Dog on a roof.
You don't see that every day.
No, you don't see a dog on a roof every day. So 1-0 start for BlossoM. Yeah, very, very comfortable round for them. Lunavis, the only thing I'll actually give them is they did opt, obviously, for a little bit of a big window, white stairs sort of pinch, tried to get that sort of going early on, yeah, didn't work. And credit to BlossoM to get those shots nice and early. A couple of kills for Lunavis. Just the, well, actually no, just the one. I thought they got 2. This one was a team kill or something. I don't know. Maybe I'm to the point where I'm imagining things, hallucinating. More importantly, though, BlossoM win kids' dorms and we get to go to basement now.
You did just see a dog on a roof, so
I did just see a dog.
You probably
on
are
the roof.
hallucinating. It's been a long old stage. It's been a lot of siege.
It has been a lot of siege.
We've seen a lot of weird things. Yeah, basement we go. So expecting this to probably be a normality, and Goyo will continue to get playtime as expected. Mirror as well is going to make things painful as Army for additional protection. So there's a lot of annoying operators available. Valkyrie not even getting played, but instead the Solace to instead gain information. Lunavis is sticking IQ into this one, which is a bit intriguing, but might be able to hard counter Solace. Outside of that, still a reliable entry.
So the winner of this moves to the semi-final. They'll take on Beyond Stratos Gaming, which should be a very intriguing match. Very much eager to see how that plays out. I think BlossoM, you look at the lineup of BlossoM, and maybe it's just me. You might disagree with this. I look at their lineup and I think it is actually stacked. You know, you got Kira Mickey. We know how good Marine is. I feel like Accidents had a good stage. Notion's not a bad player. Neither is Soul. But they are just not able to, as a collective team, match it with those top teams. Your D+, your Sandboxes, even really arguably your Talons. And I look at their roster and I think, how? What's going wrong that they're just unable to find success at the higher end of this region? Because I don't know. I look at their roster and they've got some really talented players. And as an IQ, you can't be just dry peeking backstairs towards pillar like that with no help, no util, and gets punished pretty comfortably by Sol.
Yeah, BlossoM have big names, and perhaps at times some of their team play has probably compromised them. However, in a match like this, even if their team play isn't quite up to scratch from what we're going to need to see from them later in the bracket, they can more than make up for that with their individual skill. Yeah, against a significantly weaker opponent, so that's what makes it tough. And unfortunately for Lunavis, a 3v5 you do not recover on this site.
It's one from R9 LS. 40 seconds, and they have a Habana now loses their life as well. Kira Mickey still also being able to play the drop. I mean, they had actually position after position really covered for BlossoM. This will very much just be rudimentary. You would think in this grand final, the way the first 2 rounds have played, Lunavis unfortunately have not really been able to contest BlossoM in these rounds. You know, IQ peeking, dry peeking, backstairs towards pillar, just gets punished. That means you're down a player, then another one gets picked off. You know, on a site where you really need all 5 members to attack laundry and supply. And we'll head to kitchen and meeting for the 3rd round for BlossoM to go around the world. And this has been a very quick start to this matchup. What is, well, obviously the very last quarterfinal matchup in the LCQ, only the semi-final, and then the grand final to be played out moving forward for the Korean region to see who's going to be the 3rd team from Korea to go to Atlanta. If you had to take a guess right now, out of BSG, BlossoM, La Vega, and Talon, out of those 4, who's the one for you guys?
Oh, that is actually a really tough question. I think for me,
5 seconds remaining.
I really want to say Talon, but of course they only made it through the quarters with a forfeit, so that's probably a bit of an unusual pick. But I do see them probably just edging out La Vega and then having enough experience in the grand final. Equally, I think La Vega are also a decent shout, given that their best of 3 form seems to be okay. So I'm probably looking at one of the teams in the lower bracket.
Lower portion of the bracket.
Yeah, the lower portion, lower half.
Yeah, I agree. I think one of those two teams to probably be my pick. And I also agree where it's Talon have been good this stage, but I don't know if they've been good enough to go into this as like outright favorites to now take the third spot. They've had some really good additions to the roster. Vega obviously have that experience. They've been to Copenhagen. They've done this before, and you can kind of throw form out of the window if it's been bad over the last month or so, but you've picked it up recently. Had a couple of wins. They took down Weeble. Obviously, you and Rob were pretty high on Weeble. All of us were really back at the group stage, surprised many. So maybe that's just sort of a bit of a reset now for La Vega, where they can go back to their best and make that run once again. I wouldn't count out BSG either. The BlossoM probably the right underdogs moving forward. Outside of this match, though, where they're the firm favourites, as Esso actually gets a kill onto Sol with frag grenade.
Position secured.
Marine to just sort of fortify his position inside of security. 90 seconds left in the round and a 4 versus 4. R9 LS just to clear above towards Kids Dorms, which is where Dog actually ended up losing his life on the buck, and then in through pit. That's just a bit of a slow walk peak for accident to get an easy kill.
So then at 4 versus 3, and BlossoM should be able to consolidate their position on site. R9 may look to try and drop down here in towards kitchen and find a pick. And Ezagia currently establishing vert with the sledge. Really an opportunity presenting itself though to find a kill. Marine though is actually in a precarious position. He might be isolated here. And he is. So a 3 versus 3 as the drop comes through. R9 considering the plant, he needs to wait for the rest of the attack to get into position, which they will. And now for BlossoM, it's about reclaiming control.
Oh, nice little push in there by R9 LS, and he gets the kill onto accident. Though Kira Mickey with a good angle. But one, maybe expected. A little bit more push there from R9 LS. Notion gets the double cover, and suddenly the round back in control for BlossoM, tucked in tightly. And Ezzo, wow, he just gets timed. Look at this hard swing from Notion, and he's very committed to the swing. Not sure if noise was made or not, but he was pretty convinced when he did swing out from that tucked in position. 3-0 start for BlossoM as they go around the world, and they'll head back to Kids Dorms.
Yeah, unfortunately they're the 1 versus 1. Just a slight bit of hesitation there. Unfortunate, because I think Lunavis actually prepped themselves quite nicely for that particular little push. They had the right idea. They just got enough aggression green hallway to find an additional pick, give themselves the advantage. But then BlossoM, they just chipped away and chipped away. Did some good job, some good work themselves, not overstep the mark. So that's now a perfect rotation, 3 rounds straight. And this match playing out in a fashion in which we pretty much expected.
Yeah, although that round was obviously quite close, and credit to Lunavis for really making it as kind of scrappy round. Actually forced Notion into a bit of a clutch to close that out. It's not as if that was a sort of freebie round for BlossoM.
5 seconds left.
See whether or not they can maybe sort of kick on from that round, Lunavis, and continue to make these rounds a little bit tighter and a little bit more tense, and really force BlossoM to play, well, their very best. Obviously, Kids Dorms won pretty comfortably last time by BlossoM, point where we saw a dog on a roof. Haven't seen much of said dog, though, so far in this game. 0-3 on the Lion. Obviously, those Valk cams will be very impactful. 7-0 start from Notion on the Valkyrie, as Lunavis posture over towards the balcony position, which I would imagine is to open up that game's wall, get a bit of pressure through bedroom into trophy. Which is a bit different to what they did in the opening round, which was a bit more of a big window, white stairs push through small tower. So opting to change it up slightly. And Notion does actually find his first death of the game.
So 2 minutes on the clock then remain, and BlossoM will now need to fight from a pretty significant disadvantage for the remainder of this particular round. impacts to go out, so that will disrupt the game's wall breach. Mickey up close with the shotgun. Trying to see if he can catch anybody off guard. Ash charge down below to clear top white. Mickey will re-aggress, finds a nice pick that onto the unsuspecting Habana. Some was now being used to try and clear pit, but unfortunately Kiramiki on a bit of a rampage. Really displaying the strength of the shotguns at the moment, especially from positions like that, which are difficult to clear. We probably needed to see a response from Lunavis down below with some kind of vert. They did have the sledge still with the grenade available. So, a misstep there on the attack and BlossoM punish.
Reloading. Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser. Reloading!
And again, another pretty comfortable round for BlossoM here on Kids Dorms. Ezo and Dog LS. 45 seconds to try and make a miracle happen here. Obviously, positions known as they continue to make noise, and it is a double stack push through trophy. BlossoM will make sure that this is very much not going to happen. Flashing towards Attic. Swing immediately, though, in response. And this is just far too one-sided. So a 5-0 start on the map pick of Lunavis. But it's all for the side of BlossoM. Sorry, 4-0 start. Well, it'll be 5 soon.
Getting a bit ahead of yourself there, mate.
Well, look, we got laundry and supply, so
I think you should give Lunavis a bit more credit, mate.
They'll probably win the round now, won't they?
It would be funny if they did.
They can thank me for that.
That would be wild. I almost dropped an F-bomb there for some reason. I don't know why. I had to catch myself. Oh my god. Yeah, basically we go. And yeah, I mean, Lunavis are giving it a decent crack. I will say they're not playing actually completely awful, so it's not too bad. But it's just the small little things, like Kiramiki up close with shotgun, should not be getting too. There should have been pressure down below. Just other little misplays like that, which are proving to be costly. But BlossoM, they're taking this game pretty seriously themselves and not taking any second chances. They're being relentless, and that's what they need to bring inside of this bracket. They cannot be making or taking any shortcuts throughout these maps, throughout these rounds. We're just taking it one at a time. Not too much more to comment on for this particular round outside of maybe the Ying on the attack. We might see Dog try to actually open things up through blue or from some kind of position in a solo way, maybe down freezer or down through laundry, unlock things. And without the warden in play, that's actually not a bad decision.
I think the goal for Lunavis here has to be, can they get around in this match at some point? And it'll be a lot easier to do that, obviously, on the defense than it is on the attack. But a 6-0 start for BlossoM and means you can't put a foot wrong in that second half if you are to find a round or 2 or 3. So, ideally, you got 2 more rounds to at least get a round without the pressure of those match points on the other side in the second half. I do like the fact that they are, bringing that Ying execution on site. The Nomad's good for the air jab as well, when you know that BlossoM are probably going to be a little bit cheeky and look for a bit of a flank. So the fact that that is there, Kiramiki obviously has a lot of information on the Soulless. Big stack over towards meeting from the side of Lunavis. We'll have to contend with Kiramiki later in the round. Obviously, he is getting a lot of information from this position in Kids.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
The Souls, they're actually spotting the Candela in the hand of Dog. His position and operator selection also has now been revealed. Soul down below, line of sight in towards that meeting hatch, but he has now been droned. We'll see how Lunavis go about clearing out this particular position. Another drone used. Kiramiki elsewhere finds a pick. That was him up above on the Solace. He continued to lurk around. He gets rewarded 8-1 so far in this map. And if Lunavis don't shut him down, he is probably going to single-handedly carry the rest of this game.
Yeah, poor R9, because he would have had absolutely no idea that Kiramiki was there. Unfortunately, the air jab's not able to play an impact in his push. Drop into E-box. Pretty timely manner here. I like the time in which Lunavis have gone for this attack, 50 seconds. That's actually been one of the strengths for them in this first half. Probably a reason why it might be 3-3. Never mind, Marine gets the kill onto Azo. Dog LS on the Ying out of Candela's. flush towards elbow. Marine is still full white, but he made it through the rotate hole, but the pressure continued on. Asuno and Dog are actually doing a significant job in finishing off this site. Accident, the last one alive. Default plant behind the shelf. Is this going to be Lunavis' first round? It is. They're on the board and they've taken Laundry and Supply against BlossoM. Oof. Forget the 5-0, guys. It's 4-1.
So you did curse BlossoM.
Or did I bless Lunavis?
Well, you could do both at once.
Depends on how you want to look at it. That was a really good round, though. I think the biggest thing for me was the fact that it's not as if they stalled themselves out. They went at a really good time, 50 seconds, knew what they wanted to do when they executed. The good play over towards elbow as well to clear that position. They put pressure backstairs. They had E-box. They had actually quite a lot under control and were hitting their shots. So, I mean, well done to Lunavis in that round. I thought they played that as well as you probably can as an amateur team versus a pro league team.
Attackers have discovered the location of a bomb.
Reloading. Electro sensor active. Floor secured.
So BlossoM go back down below. I mean, that's the most logical decision in the context of this match. And to cap off half a 5-1 is still more than okay. And gives them plenty of breathing room for the remainder of the map. I wouldn't be surprised if Lunavis actually do pick up at least a round or two defensively. It is their map pick, so they'll probably be pretty comfortable and got things ready to go. So BlossoM need to make sure they don't give them any chances at all. Twitch in play for this round, and with the mirror selected, that's going to be an important role for Ezo to play in this particular round to see if he can try and get shot drones in towards site through those mirror windows and help make things a little bit easier for the attack. Kirimiki currently holding top big tower. He's been absolutely adoring the shotguns, and as he always does, but also the SMG gets the first pick. And it's just one of those days where Kirimiki's on. He's had a couple days so far this stage, and I remember a couple of them where he was not particularly amazing and was struggling, but today he's certainly having a good one. Unfortunately, Accident also does fall alongside him, so with 2 minutes on the clock, the attack actually will have the advantage.
I'll tell you what, if Lunavis get this round, it certainly goes from all fun and games and expectations playing out to job done from Lunavis to get 2 attacking rounds on Oregon. BlossoM have to just buckle up here, because as much of a start as they had at 4-0 and 4 very dominant rounds, they're in a position here where Lunavis can actually get the 2 attacking rounds that would be needed. So just over 90 seconds left. Again, they've been pretty good with their time management. They're not going to wait until the last 15 seconds. They will go early. Some have to be ready for that. Little double stack towards elbow momentarily, but Marine thinks better of it. Maybe to just throw one extra keeper barrier in that location. Has one more in the back pocket. Dog goes for a lurk through Freezer, and I could see a world which he catches someone off guard. Yeah, Marine, that's poor. Got a mirror window there for a reason, just completely paid no care, no mind. And Dog gets a second onto Soul. The freeze alert push is perfect. And Lunavis have 2 attacking rounds here on Oregon. What a comeback from 4-0. They were getting utterly dominated. BlossoM have just given them 2 Laundry and Supply sites in a row going into the second half. That is not good enough for BlossoM.
Good effort, though, from Lunavis. Very impressive being able to close out those last couple of rounds, so the plaudits go to them, and a decent little effort, but of course, they'll be wanting a full map of victory here to really keep the series alive, and that is going to be a challenge at a deficit, but they can start to just chip away at that top floor. We go for the 7th round, the first of the second half. We'll see what BlossoM are able to produce. They have had a knack sometimes for having a tendency to have poor entries, BlossoM, in the past. And again, Kirimiki, as good as he can be at times, plays a very volatile brand of Siege, and he's going to stick the Grim here for this particular round, so he needs to be ensuring that he's getting value from that, and also the likes of Accident as well are extracting value from that lurk. So that's going to be 2 key players for BlossoM in this particular round, and for Lunavis, you're probably looking again at R9 and Dog to just continue this little run of form they've been able to establish in the half and the last couple of rounds, and see if that transitions across the defense.
I don't think BlossoM are going to be sitting there panicking just yet. I think they'll feel confident that they can get the job done on the attack here of Oregon, but I think they'll also be a little bit disappointed that they allowed Lunavis to get 2 laundry and supplies. I mean, had this been a situation where Lunavis won, say, kitchen a meeting twice, it's a little bit different. But the fact that they gave up laundry and supply twice in a row, that's a really powerful position from Dog. Very aggressive inside a bedroom and then blocks off that balcony entry point as well. BlossoM, this is not how you want to start your second half. There is a response though onto Ezo in a cute angle, and Dog got over aggressive there, guys. Doesn't need to move from that shield position. I think he just wanted the trade. And then R9 fan is also starting to peek, and yeah, they're throwing this one. I think they just got a little bit over aggressive, and BlossoM will always punish that.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
So we'll see how long R9 and Asuno can hold on here for. Now just the one. Mickey knows exactly where the last player is positioned, but doesn't win the fight. Trade doesn't immediately land, but Accident will finally find that kill. And again, kicking off things on the attacking half of Oregon can be a bit of a challenge. However, BlossoM do a good job of establishing a bit of momentum and starting that recovery effort after some sloppy defensive rounds.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is also the kind of round that I think it was more down to Lunavis probably getting completely overzealous and being over aggressive and probably trying to do a little too much, especially after they got the opening kill. Logan Bedroom was able to have a nice little setup on the Azami, gets a kill, and then everyone just starts peeking. BlossoM are going to punish that, and evidently did. Straight back to kids' dorms, though, for Lunavis. Now down 3 rounds once again. Started off with BlossoM winning the first 4. A little bit of a comeback from Lunavis, but then BlossoM bouncing back to start the second half. 2 rounds away from closing out the map pick of Lunavis. And considering the way that this has played out, I would be very surprised to see really much of a difference over on Clubhouse. The second map in this series. This should very well end up being a 2-0.
5 seconds left.
Anything but will be very surprising. And it pretty much just comes down to now how to BlossoM play this out. They've got a couple of alert characters now, bringing the Nook, with the Ash and the Grim to maybe clear out certain positions. Wouldn't be surprised to see if a bit of a push through Z, clear out security, up wide stairs. Nice little drone as well to catch R9 LS. Moving towards big tower, so he has been spotted. Eventually does get rid of the drone and back through the rotate hole in towards Attic, and he does give up that position.
So then, an aggressive hold here inside of Bedroom for Dog. The deployable shield may prove to be tricky to clear. There are grenades though, and flashbangs to burn util if needed. And I assume there are some magnets to help fortify this position, or perhaps not. Ash Charge goes out, Dog to hold the position. Immediately responds though with the Keeper Barrier. Able to lock it down. The attacker though may look to melee that down, get aggressive. The grenade was a little bit strange there from BlossoM. And perhaps did some friendly fire, or had the potential to. Either way, now the gate is reactivated, but Soul, he gets the kill. Anyway, Dog caught. Slight misstep goes punished, and now a 3v5.
Loading mag. Targets detected. Second floor. Breach charge ready.
Another round where BlossoM just have total control. Fortunately, being the major theme of this match. It's always going to be difficult for the amateur team of Lunavis to get and stay a Pro League level team, but you're just starting to see fruits of the labor for BlossoM. But again, to the credit of Lunavis, they've been able to do this a couple of times in this game. They can just kind of pull rounds back, but it's their late round execution that just befalls them. Really nicely done from Mickey inside of Attic. I've Launch obviously cleared out that pit position. He was then able to play off of that information, clears out kids, gets the kill in towards dorms, and BlossoM have multiple match points.
So Lunavis then will call their tactical timeout in response, and yeah, I mean, this is when you want to be calling it. Unfortunately, defensively, they just haven't looked particularly tight. And just when it felt like, you know, on their attack, they were able to tidy things up. 2 rounds, not too bad. Their defense is letting them down, and BlossoM playing with confidence and aggression. Lunavis, to be fair, are looking to employ relatively aggressive ideology. That bedroom hold was a good instance with the shield on top of the bedroom, and then things like the gates and the magnets to fortify that position. But BlossoM dumps their util correctly. Some of those defenders then crossing lines of sight they shouldn't have, and from there it did unravel, so... See what the game plan is here for Lunavis. Perhaps they'll look to reattempt that particular site with a similar setup and see if they can refine things. I would personally be wanting to go back down to basement and lean into a default Mirror Goyo combo, but based on this setup, I'm anticipating we go back up above. No, so it is below. No Mirror, no Goyo. I don't think this is going to render much success, but if they can unlock maybe some of the fragging capabilities of R9 and Dog, it could work out.
Yeah, it depends on how they want to play it, right? If you're not going to bring those more sit back, hold, key position operators, if you get a little bit more aggressive, especially with Asuno on the vigil, then he can go for a bit of a lurk upstairs. I think that will be the play, that will be the goal. Try and hinder BlossoM's attack. At the very least, making sure it's not a core 5 that is going to be attacking site, but it's going to be a rush. Korea likes, once they've got multiple rounds of match points, especially laundry supply, blue bunker rush, blitz, Montang. We'll see if it works. If there's ever a time for this to work, it probably is going to be against Lunavis.
Do you think it's going to work?
I actually think it might, because I don't think Lunavis have the setup for it. And as I say that, though, Asuno went for a spawn pick and finds it successfully onto the Lion of Cell Yo, so now I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, so no more Lion scans now. Notion will posture bunker and sit and wait. There is some barbed wire in his way, though, which will stall out the push. Marine as well, so it is the double shield combo with the Monty. Diffuser in hand. Kirimiki can look to pay pinch from Laundry. I think there is someone in Z, though, so he needs to be careful. He dies here. 3v5, they don't win the round. Certainly no chance, so Kirimiki needs to be mindful and seemingly conscious. Notion gets one. See the blitz go deep. Doesn't get traded, though. R9 now in E-box.
Yeah, a bit of a strange one, because he just went in by himself. So, I mean, you've got a strategy when you bring this lineup, but you're not playing into it. And I think maybe that's because they lost Soul early. Like, they just kind of just figured, okay, well, the round is already going to be so much more difficult. But, I mean, I'm kind of just beating a dead horse, guys, when it comes to these sort of lineups and these sort of tactics, aren't I? And don't really want to continue to be negative on it, but this is the shit that I continue to see.
I think we have seen at least half a dozen blitz rush attempts this stage, and yeah, literally none of them have ever worked at any point. So,
for the reasons we cover.
Yeah, for the regions we cover. Yeah. So it does come across as a little bit lazy, and BlossoM, with very traditional siege tactics, won 2 rounds confidently and easily. So just do that again, and I'm sure they'll be fine. We go top 4 now, and Lunavis will probably look to do some sort of trophy or bedroom extension, and yeah, for BlossoM, it's just about clearing this util, dumping it properly, getting these kills, and then getting this map crossed off.
Oh, thing where you think, oh, it's laundry supply, it's too hard. If we play it conventionally, it's a favored site for the defense, so let's just not even bother. Let's try and cheese it. That mentality is just crap. If that's your mentality, you're just playing the game wrong. Because honestly, look at Lunavis. 2 rounds to go in the half, they win laundry supply both times without trying to cheese it. Played it in a conventional manner, played it well, attacked many different angles. Like I'm not saying it's an easy site to hit on Oregon. It's obviously the de facto defense site, but there are ways to play it and to break it down. And if you're just thinking, okay, well, let's just cheese it and move it on from the list and force them to win elsewhere, I think you're just going about it in the wrong fashion. And I think there's probably a reason why we see teams that struggle to attack go for those kind of strategies on those kind of sites, and why that also still just doesn't fundamentally work. Because they also just didn't even play it that well.
So Kirimiki's actually going to kick off this round with, I thought, maybe a potential lurk from basement, which would be a sight to behold. Does have information about Big Tower, so he may look to make his way up the staircase. He may also ask for some support on this particular push if he really wants control of that side of the map. good position to unlock, especially with secondary hard breach, because he can then make his way through attic, and Candles are pretty powerful through the pit. Elsewhere, Games Wall has opened up, so it's not being contested near as heavily on the extension here from Lunavis. Instead, they'll actually play into the objective itself with the rumor of R9, the Legion down below. A decent amount of groundwork done. Marine tapped away at early on in the round. Really the only blemish here for BlossoM. So the pacing looking good, the groundwork done. Now I think it's really just about trying to find Kirimiki in a playmaking position.
Yeah, 13 and 4 from Kirimiki. He's been clearly the best player in the server. Drops down below for Classroom from R9. Impact doesn't end up being successful, and Notion gets the opening kill. They follow it up with a second, and Asuno is down. So it's actually a 5-on-2. And Cadella's out now from Kirimiki to further make life difficult for those on site. Zezo falls to accident, and R9 fan number 2, as the solo in 1 versus 5, is not going to put this one into a montage highlight reel. It's good half. It's 7-3 from BlossoM here on Oregon, the map pick of Lunavis, and they will head to Clubhouse looking to close this series out in due time.
And unironically, we probably are literally halfway through this series. It should be a 2-mapper. Unfortunately, BlossoM are just far too good in this particular match, and heading to Clubhouse, which plays out in a somewhat similar fashion, and one in which they've picked themselves. I expect